Today's Ask Me Anything goes out to Valerie, who says, my Siberian Husky had a massive panic attack when I cooked a lamb shoulder. She jumped at full alert and was barking like she was on fire. Let her outside for an hour. She would not come back into the house. I had to lure her with a trail of cheese into the garage. Left her there for about an hour. She banged on the door and wanted to come in, but she only stuck her head in and was sniffing. Finally, with a trail of cheese leading into the bedroom, she came into the house. She would not go to any part of the house, especially the kitchen. Do you know why she reacted to this? Well, I don't think it has anything to do with cooking a lamb shoulder, because I would think most dogs love lamb shoulder. They love it, right? So what happened, I don't know, but I'm going to just assume something. What happened is something happened to the dog there at that moment. The dog got spooked by something in the kitchen. Maybe a piece of the fry that came out, some water came out and landed on her. Something happened. Something spooked her that was not, I promise, I don't think it was the lamb shoulder. Unless the lamb was alive while you were cooking it, which I'm sure you weren't. That's a bad joke. But listen, something else happened. Make nothing of it. Don't go overboard. Let the dog just chill out. Within a couple of days, the dog will be back. The dog will be back and you'll be just fine. In about 6 weeks' time, I'm getting a Boston Terrier puppy. I live in a rural area in Australia surrounded by a number of cattle stations that use working dogs to handle their stock. These dogs generally run in a pack behind the farmer's truck, to and back from the paddock, and I am already foreseeing major issues. So am I. If I get caught walking my juvenile dog along the road, if I meet the above scenario, what's the best way to handle this issue? Avoid the road. You're going to have to avoid it. It's the only way you're going to have to. If you live in a rural area, take the dog out, expose the dog at a distance to things. Right? You can't just expose this dog to a bunch of sheep running around and a pack of dogs running with him, because he's going to start barking. More than likely, I'm not 100% sure, more than likely those dogs won't bother your dog, or maybe they will. But it's your job to protect your dog, your puppy, from anything like that. So if you can't do that, don't get the dog. You just got to do it. Now, I'm sure you can do it. I'm sure there's ways you can avoid those roads. You can take the dog into town, put the dog in the car, drive the dog somewhere. Don't walk the dog, because if you live on a farm or next to a farm, you're going to encounter that. So take the dog, drive the dog somewhere. Spend a few months getting the dog properly socialized so that you won't have this issue, because if you have the issue and it becomes a problem, you're never going to undo it. That's it. Simple as that. Do your research, do your work, and you'll feel much happier about the dog you have and the puppy will develop. Hi, Robert. Thank you for sharing your dog training knowledge online. I have learned as a member. My wife and I have 3 dogs. A female Dachshund mix, 6-year-old female German Shepherd. Oh, sorry. I think it's a female Dachshund mix who's 6 years old, comma. A female German Shepherd, 1 year. 2 months ago, we rescued a 1-year-old Great Pyrenees. So you kind of went up in size. Dachshund, German Shepherd, Great Pyrenees. Male, possibly a mix. He's a sweet dog, and the 3 dogs get along very well, but he seems to be afraid of the leash. Coming into the house, getting into the car, etc. He's now coming into the family room after weeks of luring with food, but trying to walk him is nearly impossible as he won't budge. He'll plant himself and put on the brakes. Any suggestions would be appreciated. He's probably kind of a neurotic mess of a dog. So what I would kind of do with the dog is I would do feeding. I would put the leash on the dog. I would have the dog dragging the leash around. Good things would happen when he's on the leash. He would be being fed. He'd be being played with. He'd be being brushed. He'd be hand fed or whatever it is. Then I would start taking food with me on walks, and he would only ever get fed on a walk. And that's really the only way you're going to do this, because you have to overcome the dog's fear by getting into the dog's primal nature, which is the desire for food. Simple as that. And it's hard, it's going to take time, it's not going to be easy, but it's worth it. My German Shepherd is really good in house. When I let her play, she gets so excited that she does not listen to my dog friend. She doesn't listen to my dog friend, said she needs some heavy. She doesn't listen. Oh, I guess she doesn't listen. You forgot to put a period there. Periods are very important. My German Shepherd is usually good in the house. When I let her play, she gets so excited that she does not listen. Period. Also some grammar training as well as dog training. My dog friend, which she's not a dog friend, she's a friend who has a dog, but if she's a dog friend, then she would be a dog who's a friend and she's advising you. This is a whole grammatical thing here. Said she needs some heavy training. Her obedience is very good when she is not playing. She's 2.5 years old. Do I have a big problem, or is she just a happy dog? You have a big problem. You have a big problem with sentence structure, first of all, but that's okay. But yeah, you can't have a dog that during play doesn't listen, because that's when the dog is getting into prey drive, and that's where you're going to have your problems. Every dog that gets in trouble when they're excited. So people say, oh, my dog listens except when he's excited. But that's when the dog gets in trouble. When they're excited, they run in the street. They run after another dog. They bite another dog. They chase, a squirrel down the road. They do a lot of bad things. You must be able to control your dog when she's in that mode. Don't let her play. Don't let her get to that point. Let her get slightly excited, then bring her down in drive, tell her down, do whatever, correct her. I guarantee there's a problem with you not correcting your dog, especially a 2.5-year-old German Shepherd. And don't think, is she a happy dog or not a happy dog? Happiness has nothing to do with this equation at all. Structure, and your structure, has a lot to do with it. And that's what I would work on fixing right away. Got a question? Ask me anything. Also, check out my online dog training at robertcabral.com for the best online dog training available anywhere.